then the final film in the Pascal Laugier collection, and the first one that he directed is 2008's French film Martyrs. And holy shit. Oh god. Oh, this movie. All right, so let's get into just the summaries and stuff like, or the overviews first. So this one is definitely the most difficult to find. I know in the past it has been available on Amazon Prime, so maybe when you're watching this movie, it is available. One of the reasons that I did watch it last was hoping that maybe by the time I got around to it, it would be available. But as of now, you can rent it on Apple TV Plus, or you can buy it on YouTube, which is what I did. It has the subtitles, it has everything you need. The synopsis on IMDb is a young woman's quest for revenge against the people who kidnapped and tormented her as a child leads her and a friend who is also a victim of child abuse on a terrifying journey into a living hell of depravity. Yeah, yeah. The Rotten Tomato score is 64% and then 69% audience score. So the highest rated, the one that put him on the map, probably the reason he got to make Tall Man, and then subsequently Ghostland. And God, there are just some sequences in this film that the effects, I'm like, the body horror effects, I'm like, I just can't believe it. Going back to the budget that we were talking about, how you could see it increasing, especially for Ghostland. It's the most low budget, and it is one of the biggest pros. It just, the griminess really, really adds to what you're watching. And before, I started this video, I was talking about the first act of Tall Man. It's my least favorite part of the film. For Ghostland and Martyrs, I am not sure which first act I like more. Which one is more shocking? I would definitely say Martyrs is more shocking. It's more out of left field and just hits you. Because Ghostland, you can kind of start seeing, like, oh god, this is what's going to happen. Martyrs, wow. It's genuinely scary. Not necessarily the first act, but the horror, the atmosphere. There is and I don't know what she is. She's a manifestation. She's a demon, but there's something following one of our main girls, Lucy, who is the one who was kidnapped and tormented as a child. And there's a dead girl demon thing that's the Ring always scared me when I was in middle school. It doesn't look anything like that, but it gave me the same feeling where when I finished it last night, it was one of them where I need to turn the lights on before the room that I get in. I found her that terrifying. So when we talk about too many jump scares in Ghostland, Martyrs has almost no jump scares. And it's just genuine, oh my god, what is going on? And reading this synopsis, again, like, it might be just having so much experience with North American horror. And I mean, when I say I have almost no experience with foreign horror films, I mean, this movie is my experience. So I don't have any. So there were things that, I've seen and enjoyed. Enjoyed is an awful word for it. I've seen and enjoyed the arcs of I Spit on Your Grave movies. I mean, because that first act and a half is so hard to get through, but the when you get to see the revenge, it's so gratifying, right? This movie doesn't follow that same script, and Last House on the Left has the same script as or the same layout as I Spit on Your Grave, right? This movie doesn't. So that is something that I really, really, it took me a second to get adjusted because you go in with expectations, and when they don't meet them, it's a wonderful feeling once you're able to adjust. But it was something that I wasn't ready for, and that, I mean, I guess I'm talking a lot about the first act, but the second act and the relationship between Lucy and Anna, who you only get to see them a little bit when they're kids, and then there's like photographs of them being friendly and jumping around and playing and during the opening credits, but you don't see a lot of them, their character growth together, which makes the writing, which makes the dialogue in Tall Man one other thing that stands out. But you really believe that these two are as close as they say, and when one character does something that we question as well, you believe that the other girl would follow along or have, like, some of the times they're having the reactions that we're having, and it's just all very human and very real. And I thought that was very, very impressive. And the second act is just as good as the first because it just builds on it, right? The first act is going for more of that shock value, that more of what is going on kind of terror. The very first scene, you're seeing Lucy run out of this, looks like an old factory or something like that, and just how she's running, it kind of felt like 28 Days Later, but wasn't. Is 28 Days Later a foreign film? Let me know in the comments below. If so, then I have seen another foreign horror movie. But yeah, so those first two acts are just non-stop greatness. This movie is an hour 40 minutes, so all of his are about the same length, and they're the perfect length. If it went any longer, it might drag on. Honestly, even this movie could have had a couple minute shaves off. We'll get to that in some of the lower ranking, or some of the mediums and the cons. But let me make sure I got everything. I don't want to miss any of the points I wanted to talk to you guys about. I think we're good. So I didn't have any things that really were medium for me. If there was something, it would be just the very end. And I'm not going to spoil anything. And we'll get into spoilers after the rankings and ratings. But there's a little bit more ambiguity. I'll say that. And I don't know. I think I wanted more finality, but also it fit the vibe of everything that was going on here. So that's why it's in the medium category. I'm not really sure which way I'm going on it, but the con is the third act, and this is where a lot of the torture happens. And not that I don't watch torture movies like at all. Like I do but I get to like mentally prepare yourself, right? So when the torture scenes did start happening, I didn't have a problem with it because I knew what I was getting into. But it's very repetitive. Like the exact same things happening over and over again. Girl gets beaten, girl has to eat food, girl vomits food, girl starts to wither away. And then some more people coming up and down this ladder. And then we just rinse and repeat. And I realize that that's the point. We are seeing her get withered away, and we are getting withered away with her. Get withered away with her. But, I mean, it's like a 25-minute sequence here. And it didn't need to be. We got the point. And it's not even that it kept getting more gruesome. It did, but it was almost, by the time it got super more gruesome, I was more numb to it. And then one of the characters says there's only one last stage left. Whew. Wow. It's intense and impressive. It puts Saw to shame, I'll tell you that much. It's crazy. And I don't even know what to give away at this part. All I can say is the first two acts are fantastic. And after you get through that first two parts of the third act, if that makes sense, before we get to the actual finale, there's a lot of repetitiveness. And that is the biggest con for me. And it does bring it down. It went on long enough where I started to get less tense, where I was just edge of my seat for the first hour. It really brought it down a little bit for me. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye, guys.